shouldn't he? Yeah, he don't. But it'd be interesting to see what we saw and what, and what you guys saw as well.
The only good thing is where you play. Better.
That's the thing.
You know what I mean? Because
Makes it your view. But it'd be interesting to see. All right, buddy. Now, let me.
Because he was let go last minute. Yeah. Chop. Chop down. Yes, mate. You guys got white tops on, yeah? Yeah, white, royal blue, yeah. Thanks. I hope we're better. Don't do that to me, mate. Come on. Might clash and we'll have to call the game off. Basically, on the YouTube feed, the audio is always right. The audio is always right. It's like a cigar lounge, mate. That's fucking
Huh? Yeah, when you're ready.
They send that out now because of what happened last year. So they go, oh no, we got an email, but you weren't wearing one. You were wearing the all yellow. So they made him change it, but then Ross goes, oh fuck, I'm already wearing yellow. So he's lost it, but he has to wear another colour now when he was already dressed. He had a stink anyway. I just said to Johnny, when he rocked up late, and he reversed his motorbike on the footpath. But as he went backwards, he went too close. He almost went off the stairs. Even Webby saw it. I'm like, Ross, what are you doing? He goes, I didn't think it was as close. And the fucking security guard wouldn't get out of my way, and I was sort of lost my bearing. I mean, you could have lost your motorbike off the edge. You know what I mean? One of the funniest things I've seen. So they're all getting changed. Yeah, that's why they're running around. I don't understand. Who cares? Just let them play with what they were wearing, surely. That's what I mean. Oh, I thought he'd be losing it too, though. It's not up here. You got an angry Ross today. Sorry, man. Is he ever happy? No, we had him in the pre-season at Jordan Ross. And then second half he was giving us everything, and then
It was a chaotic past 24 hours here in Melbourne, but the next 90 minutes will be even more chaotic out on the pitch. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Frank Holohan Soccer Complex here in Endeavour Hills, home to Dandenong City, where they take on the visiting Heidelberg United in what is set to be a fiery clash here this evening. This is the 10th meeting between these two sides since 2019. In the previous 9 meetings, it has been Heidelberg United who have had 8 of the past 9 wins. Dandenong City's only win came back in 2021 where they had a 4-3 victory over the Burgers, and then the following year it was Heidelberg who absolutely pounced on Dandenong City, winning the first matchup 6-0 in their first meeting, and later in that season defeating City 5-1. And before tonight's game commences, there will be a minute's silence as a mark of respect to Dandenong City's former head coach, Doje Žumnik, who passed away on Tuesday. Žumnik coached the Chelsea Hajduk senior team in the mid-90s and handed a number of young Hajduk products senior debuts. We pass on our condolences to his family and friends impacted by his passing. Looking at the lineups ahead of the clash between these two sides, taking a look at Dandenong City, it is Pierce Clark, Corey Sewell, Jack Webster, Thomas Yannikopoulos, Jamie Latham, Valil Sesnik, Gaku Inaba, Danny Kim, Timothy Atherinos, Will Bauer and Jackson Lino completing the lineup for City. And for Heidelberg, it is Yaron Souza, Ben Collins, Jamal Ali, Anthony Lesiotis, Fletcher Fulton, Cherif Mohammed Adira, Bull Joach, Sebit James Enyor, Ryan Lethlin, Asai Yokokawa, and Max Besetto rounding up the sides. The officiating squad for tonight's contest is referee Ross Clark. The fourth is Yanni Malides. Assistant referee 1 is Jackson Trundle. And the assistant referee number 2 is Armin Piver. This is Dandenong City's 4th home game of the season, and they are still seeking their first win at home in front of home crowd. Their first 2 home games both ended up in draws. The first one was against St Albans, where they had a 3-3 draw, and then the following week they had a 2-2 draw against informed Preston Lions, who are playing later tonight at 8:30. And they also had 1 loss back in round 4 against Hume City, and that one ended up in 3-1. But the question is, can Heidelberg keep their momentum rolling after that 5-1 victory that they had last week against Hume City? Dandenong City sitting currently 7th on the ladder. Heidelberg sitting 5th. A 5th and 7th clash right here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. It is going to be Dandenong City with the first kickoff. And it is going to be Atherinos to kick it off here at Frank Holohan Reserve. And we are underway here. A night of football here. And the ball being kicked forwards. It's going to be crossed in forwards, and it was a header by Benjamin Collins, working its way back out to the outside. Here comes Heidelberg on this close side, and it'll fall straight to Webster. Danny Kim, usually starting in the centre, this time in the back line in that left back position. Here's Boa, one-on-one with Sabir Inyor, gives a massive shrug, going to cross it in. That'll be a free kick going Heidelberg's way here early on. Souza in goal for Heidelberg. The 27-year-old goalkeeper, standing at 1.89 metres tall. Quite a tall boy. You wouldn't tell standing far away from him, but he is quite tall. Collins. Left lane, all the way. And a boot of falls from Fulton. Ball inside. Try to get it. Here's a boot from Ahmed Adira. It's from Sabinho. Tried to go into the top bins. It was a very, very close one from Sabinho, trying to make an impact here early on and put Heidelberg up 1-0 in familiar waters where they're used to from the past 8 wins that they've had. There's Juach. Working it forwards, back again. Falls into the legs of Webster. Webster. He's got this one at the moment. Going to kick it off to Clark. Clark in the back line. Clark going to give this one a big boot in the direction of Bauer. Bauer got a head on it. And the ball still being kicked up. There's Lino. Tried to go into the direction of Laham. Here it is in the middle. Got to work its way back. Off to Inaba. And Kim. Here is Jamie Latham. Jamie Latham, who was born in Wales. Ball on that far side. Going to work it forwards here slowly, trying to, at least, Yanakopoulos. Directly in the middle of the pitch. Tried to through ball that had Bauer in his sights, but he couldn't quite find him. There's Jamie Latham. And instead it's going to find its way back to Sabit Ignor, who's one-on-one here on this side with Lino. Working his way forwards. He's run the whole end of the pitch here so far. And instead it's going to be a throw-in. And a throw-in for Heidelberg. Back to Collins. And Collins is going to find Lethling. There is Fulton making the start for Dalibor Markovic tonight. Dalibor Markovic not in. Believe he might be injured. It's a bit in your one-on-one, a big contest with Bauer. And it's a free kick the way of Heidelberg. Collins. Going to bird it forwards. Thought about going on Ignor, but couldn't time it quite in time. Bit of a chilly night here tonight. 16 degrees here in Endeavour Hills as well, as Sesnik tried to keep the ball in play. Here's Bezzetto going to throw it in the direction of Yokokawa. Tried to go to Juach, but couldn't. There's Bezzetto again. Back off to Yokokawa. Juach inside. And it was a sliding tackle to stop it from Yanakopoulos. And this will be the first corner of the game going the way of the Burgers. And it'll be Yokokawa to take this one. All the way on the far right-hand side. Heidelberg. We have 4 players inside the box at the moment. They're all playing a bit of argy-bargy. Ball is up. Ryan Lethlean was the one leading forwards. Yokokawa going to sprint after it. Going to give it a boot inside direction of Juach. It's going to find Yanakopoulos around the back. He's going to turn around and kick it out of play. It's still Heidelberg's ball here. City to throw this one in. Lino. Going to melt it forwards into the direction of Ali. Going to header it forwards to Anyor. Anyor, who's one-on-one with Lino here on this close broadcast side. Adira trying to chip it forwards. The ball's working in. And they couldn't quite. Goes right into the feet of Adira. And the ball's just going to retreat towards the back. Lesiotis, who's a former Melbourne Victory player. Lesiotis, who spent his time, began his career part of the under-21s, part of Victory, before being bumped up into the Melbourne City A-League squad. Correction, that was for Victory. My apologies. So it's a goalie click for Dandenong City. And they're all moving towards that far side. They're going to give it a massive boot. It's one-on-one. It was Lethlean and the Burgers trying to chase after it. Here's Bowers one-on-one with Fulton on that close sideline. And it was Ryan Lethlean who gave it a bit of a boot out. And this will be the first Dandenong City corner. The Filipovic stand serving in the background of this clash. And it looks to be Will Bauer who's going to have the free kick here. Both hands are up. Going to give it a boot in, but it was a massive fist off from Souza. And here come the Burgers in transition. It's Max Pacetto. They got the numbers here, the Burgers. It's a 3-on-1 off to Ali. Ali couldn't quite get a hit on it. And a close one there for the Burgers. In transition, they had the numbers. 3-2. And probably the first clear chance in this game. And here comes a corner kick for the Burgers here on this close side. Right in the corner here is this corner. And I'm not going to go for it. Here it is in the back. Yokokawa! And that ball's gone. And that one's now part of Parks Victoria now. Straight out in the bush. If anyone wants it, you can go and get it. So a goalkeeper kick here. Still 0-0 here in this clash. And I should say as well, it is a night of football here happening here on this Friday night. At the moment, the Melbourne Knights are taking on Melbourne Victory at Tomset Stadium. That match would have already kicked off at 7:30 p.m. And at the moment, we're still waiting on two other matchups to take place. One, there's a massive rivalry match. The Preston Lions taking on the Oakley Cannons. That one's at Genesis Steel Stadium at 8:30 p.m. Along to with Hume City taking on South Melbourne, the match of the round. That one's also taking place at 8:30 at Naciol Stadium. A whole night of footy here. A massive night of football. And the ball back off with Webster. Ended up playing in England's national fifth tier. Back over there, did Webster. Here's Lino with a cross. Directed man was Sesnick, and couldn't quite get anybody. And here come the Burgers now in transition. A challenge. And it will be a free kick for the Burgers. It will be with Fletcher Fulton. Lesiotis back off to Lethlean. And here come the Burgers slowly working it forwards. Trying to attack was Fulton. Back off to Mohadadira. And here's, speaking of Mohadadira, trying to get into the contest right now. Managing to find Atharinos. And here they come, Max Pacetto. One-on-one with Yannikopoulos. He's got 2-on-1 all the way in the corner. They're going to go to the ground. Nothing said about that one. And here is Lethlean. And so he's going to kick it back and work it back. Lesiotis. Forwards to Jamal Ali. Both of these two teams struggling to find an opening here early on. Trying to chip it forwards to the direction of Bisetto. Back off to Lesiotis. Here's Collins looking for his players. Finds Fulton out there on the wing position. And instead, the ball's been worked back. Here's Atharinos with a blonde hair. Ball being kicked by Lino is a massive contest, and the ball is out of play. Lino directly in front of us here to throw this ball in. Off to Inaba. Heidelberg currently sitting 5th on the ladder with with 3 wins, 1 draw and 2 losses at the moment. They sit on 10 points. 5th on the ladder. The ball was crossed into the back. There's Bauer. So too was Jamie Latham. There's Lino back off again to Bauer. Bauer to try cross it in. And the ball's been booted up. Sent up high. Kim, who's 1-on-1. And here's Bauer. Going to cross it in. And the ball just been picked off by the Burgers here. Here come the Burgers now in transition. Here's Sabit-Ignore. Tried to go for a little nutmeg between the legs of Inaba. And here's Yannikopoulos. And they're just going to slow the tempo down here as Melbourne City. Speaking of Dandenong City, my apologies. Speaking of Dandenong City, they're currently 7th on the ladder with 7 points, 1 win, 4 draws, and 1 loss. We had a 0-0 draw last week in round 6 against the Altona Magic. This is round 7. A massive season of football here, especially here in Victoria. Tried to cross it in to Jamie Latham, who was charging in. Ball still in. Latham around the back. He's going to look to cross it in, and I believe that is offside, and is. One player who has had a lot of touches of the ball at the moment has been Benjamin Collins, number 3 for Heidelberg. And he started off his career part of Northcote City FC back in 2021. He's 25 years old, the centre back. He had played 27 games last year for the Burgers. He had 3 goals. Speaking of the Burgers, here's Sabit-Ignore, who had a short stint part of the Mariners in the A-League. And that ball is quickly stopped. Sabit Ignor, who played 15 games for the Mariners, ended up scoring 2 goals as well later end in the 2024 year. Here is Mohadadira. Instead, the ball is being pushed back off to the man Collins, who I was just speaking about. Here's Lethlean. Lethlean, who's been mauled at the moment by Jamie Latham. Not giving him any breathing room is Jamie Latham. Young, fiery man from Wales. Here's Mohadadira. Charging forwards in. Tried to through ball it off to Juach. He saw the ball. He saw the opportunity, but just a little bit too late to the party to try and give it a boot. And Lesiotis to throw it in. Still 0-0 here in this contest between 5th and 7th on the ladder. Here come the Burgers again. Lesiotis. Back off to Ali and back off again to Lesiotis. Again, the former ex-Melbourne Victory player. He ended up playing 22 games in his 2 seasons that he spent part of Victory. He's also a 2-time A-League champion, winning 2 consecutive titles, part of Melbourne Victory back in 2020 and 2021, sorry, Melbourne City back in 2020 and 2021 and 2021 to 2022. A very well experienced A-League player. And that ball will be booted out of the direction by Inaba. Adira tried to pass it off to Lesiotis. Did manage to. Here's Ali and offside. This is Anthony Lesiotis' 3rd season part of Heidelberg. He's had majority of the touches so far, playing in that central position. Often a defensive midfielder, 24 years old. Standing in at just under 6 foot tall, 1.82 metres tall for the defensive midfielder. He's a big boot. And off to Bauer. Finds Atharinos. Yanakopoulos. And they're just going to retreat back slowly. Here's Webster. Going to find a lot of City players here. Just scattered around the pitch at the moment. Corey Sewell as well, making his start. So far, he's played 6 games so far this season. Corey has. Corey, quite a veteran, 28 years old. Started off his time back in 2019, part of the Bentley Greens. He joined Dandenong City this year. Played every game except for the 4th round, where it was he played his first 4 games, I should say, my apologies. He did not play round 5 in that 5-0 victory that City had against Green Gully, and he was benched in that 0-0 draw versus Altona Magic last week. Speaking of Sewell, here he is, Yanakopoulos. Send it back off to Webster. And a bit of a mishap here from City. Can Heidelberg capitalise? Here's Sabit Ignor. Tried to get it in, but couldn't. And Sabit Ignor, he had the opportunity, couldn't quite get it. Still seeking his first goal of the season. And that was clear as day. Couldn't quite finish that one off. Couldn't connect with it. And still 0-0 here in this contest. So another boot from Clark, massive, into the direction of Lethlean for the Burgers. A bit of a mishap here. Here comes City. Atherinos tried to centre it forwards for Valil Sesnik. He was caught up in the middle of a burger sandwich, and that'll be out of play. Inaba for City. Finds Jackson Leno, who couldn't quite get a head on it. And that'll be out of play. And Heidelberg's ball. Here is Jamal Ali to throw it in. Tried to go to the direction of Yokokawa. And instead, it's Kim and Muhammad Adira again in a bit of a kerfuffle. Here is Jawach now, looking for his players. Finds his teammate in Max Pacetto, who's been on fire so far this season. He's had 3 goals in his 6 games. Here's Jawach inside. Fell down, but it won't be a penalty. It'll be out of play. Out of play in the half of the Burgers, who are looking to attack and get their first goal and put Dandenong City in familiar territory where they've been in the past 8 losses that they've had against the Burgers. And again, that one loss for City coming back in 2021. They've had a 4-year winless drought against the Burgers. Can tonight be the night where they get that win that they've needed and break that 4-year drought? We're going to have to wait and see. Kim with a big boot forwards into the direction of Atherinos. Got a bit of dyed blonde hair as well with this new look that he's got. Souza under a bit of pressure. He was there, and that's going to be out of play. Here comes a chance for City to attack. And the ball back in the back line, back with Webster. Danny Kim, who's playing in that left back position, normally playing as well in that central midfield role. And here is Sesnik now, marching forwards, off to Jamie Latham. Latham going to his right, inside, try to cross it forwards. Not quite. Leno. He was quickly stopped in his tracks by Jamal Ali. Here's Bauer, all by himself here on this left side. One-on-one with Sabit-Ignor. Manages to intercept that ball. And just going to kick it forwards into the direction of Jawach. Leno, back off to Kim. And Dandenong City just going to recoup here and try and get another attacking opportunity. The Burgers have had plenty of success against City. Inaba. Off to Latham. He's going to kick it back, and City just retreating ever so slightly. Looking for their players. And Webster gives it a boot into the direction of Leno. He's all by himself, and he's just going to lose it. And an offside from Jackson Leno. Speaking of Jackson Leno, he began his career back in 2021 for Heidelberg United, actually. And he's playing his former team here, so a bit of a derby match for him. Ended up playing 3 games, scored the 1 goal. His only goal came in his first game against the Oakley Cannons, and then he ended up moving to Melbourne Victory's under-21 squad in 2022 before joining Dandenong City last year. He played 15 games for them in 2024, and in 2025 he's played in all 6 games, and he's had 1 assist, and that came back in round 3 in their 3-3 draw against St Albans. Here is Bisetto. Tried to cross it in, got way too close, and there is Sesnick now to bring it out for City. Off to Atharinos, who's got Ryan Lethlean for company. And the Burgers just going to bounce this ball around in their back line. Collins. Off to Fulton on that far side. Off to Bizetto, and they're going to retreat again of the Burgers, just trying to reset. So far, 26 and a half minutes, closing in at 27 minutes have elapsed here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. Here's Ali, who's one-on-one with Bauer. Trying to create some space, went around him, got a bit of space, got to go for it, and he couldn't quite. And a very, very close opportunity for the Burgers. And it was Yokokawa trying to set it up for Fulton, trying to get a bit of a run. And the Burgers just going to retreat again and set up another attacking opportunity. A brilliant, brilliant attacking opportunity from Jamal Hill. Jamal Ali, my apologies. Jamal Ali, 26 years old. Playing in that centre-back position. Right, he's pushed up a little bit here so far. He began his career back part of Moreland City Soccer Club back in 2018 before shortly being recruited to be part of Central Coast Mariners under-21 squad. He played for 1 year. He's played through many NPL sides, playing for the likes of Manningham United FC, Dandenong Thunder, Altona Magic before spending a couple months without a team and shortly finding his new home part of the Burgers. He's played in 4 games so far, thus far. That was back in 2024. Sorry, back so far this year, my apologies. And the ball is out of play. So free kick, my apologies again. Free kick here for City. Could this be the opportunity they need? Will Bauer is going to take this one. So both hands go up for Bauer. He's going to chip it up, send it all the way in. Tried to go to the back towards Corey Sewell. And he couldn't quite manage to find him. And here comes a corner opportunity for City. And this will be Atharinos to kick this one in. The ball is up. Tried to get up was Webster. Here he is again, Webster, but couldn't quite get it. And here come the Burgers in transition again. Could this one be the one? They've had it many a times. Bisetto, who's stumbling slowly, and a free kick. And a yellow card to Jamie Latham. The first yellow of the game, and it goes to the Welsh-born player. And Max Bisetto, he went tumbling down. He tried to keep his balance, but unfortunately it came down to a stop. That could have been a possible goal for the Burgers. putting City in familiar territory. But instead, here comes a free kick. So, free kick here for the Burgers, and it's going to be a change of the free kick take. It'll be Sabit to take this one. The Burgers have the numbers ahead to try and attack. Can they get the first goal here of the game? Ball is up. Ali tried to rise up like a phoenix, and not quite. And that'll be Dandenong City's ball. Still 0-0 here at Frank Holohan Sports Complex. A chilly night here as well. Temperature just keeps on dropping. I would not like to be out there playing with them. I'd much rather be out here calling this game. Ball with Cessnik, who's got an opening here. Cessnik going to give it a boot from well outside the box. He had Fulton directly in front of him. He had 3 Heidelberg players directly in front of him, but unfortunately didn't have enough of an opening to see the goal enough. And unfortunately, another missed opportunity for City. So he's up off to Sabit Ignore, who's one-on-one here with Lino. You can hear the shouting on the pitch here from Clark, telling Lino not to give him any space. And here comes a free kick for Dandenong City. Will Bauer to take this one. Could this be a possible first goal here? Will Bauer for City. The 25-year-old who began his career part of the Edgeworth Eagles before he moved off to play for Bentley Greens in 2021. He was not selected to play in the squad last week in their 0-0 draw against the Altona Magic. Bauer to center it up, and the ball just goes way past the goal. And another missed opportunity. "34 minutes have elapsed here at Frank Holohan Sports Complex. Still 0-0 here between these two sides. Again, Dandenong City still hunting for their first home win of the season in front of home fans. They had 2 draws. And speaking of which, maybe this could be a goal here. An opportunity for Atherinos, who gave up a bit of a trip there for Lesiotis. Here's Mohadadira. Just going to push back. Jamie Latham and City putting ultimate pressure at the moment. Here's Sabit Ignore. He's going to center it forwards to Juach. Here comes Juach. He's in space. He's going to go for a bit of a change of direction. Spots on the dime. Tried to belt the skin off it. Unfortunately, that one couldn't go. But the Burgers just went from being pressed up by Dandenong City to then doing all the pressing up front with Juach. And that will be a goalkeeper ball for Piers Clark. So, Ball back in play. Ali and Bauer, and that will be Dandenong City's ball. So, here's Atherinos with Sabitinor charging forwards, looking for Pasetto, who's on that left wing. One-on-one. Charging forwards through is Yanakopoulos. Trying to be a one-man show over there on that far side. And it's back off to Ryan Lethlean. And the Burgers just to cool down the pace here in the tempo. Still 0-0 here. Lethlean. Just playing a bit of kick-to-kick in the back line with the goalkeeper Souza, who's had plenty of experience as well for him. So he's got the 27-year-old who spent quite some time playing in Turkey in the Super Leagues over there. Very well experienced goalkeeper. And there was a very heavy contest there. Right directly in the middle of the pitch between Lesiotis and Sesnick. Webster going forwards. Back off to Kim. Finding Bauer. Here on this left side. Looking for Lino. Finds him in open space. He's going to try and through ball it to himself. Directly stopped, however, there by Mohamed Adira. And Adira stopped as well, back by Yanakopoulos. Webster. Going to go off to Sowell just to create a bit of a transition to try and open up and even out their players for this play. Here's Bauer directly in front of us. A nice through ball off to Jamie Latham. And offside again for Dandenong City. They're creating opportunities, but it's just costing them by being a tad bit too offside. As we get closer and closer to halftime here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. Still 0-0 here, but it's been a very, very exciting first half thus far. Which team is going to blink and score that first goal? Who will allow the first goal as well? And here we might have a first one. Jamie Latham, and another offside for Jamie Latham. 2 in a row for Latham. That will absolutely destroy him. Lesiotis. 2 clear as day opportunities for Dandenong City. And Jamie Latham just getting a tad bit too impatient when it comes to waiting for that pass. But here come the Burgers now in transition. Bisetto, who's got a fast-charging Fulton directly in front of him, who's got one-on-one being pressed up there by Will Bauer. Down goes Yokokawa, holding his ankle. And here comes a free kick for the Burgers. Yokokawa down inside. Oh, just might be beyond the box. Now we're just waiting for Yokokawa. Yokokawa, 22 years old. He grew up in Odarara, Kanagawa. I don't know how badly I butchered that, to be honest with you. In Japan, he played for Belmare under 18s. And he eventually got the call up to the national first, third, and fourth tier in Singapore. Sorry, and then ended up moving to play in Singapore and then played in the national first tier Premier League there. Played 22 games, scored 4 goals and had 8 assists. Last year, played for the Burgers. He had 20 games, 4 goals, 2 assists. At the moment this year, he's had 3 goals. He's had 4, my apologies, correction. Yokokawa inside, only just over the crossbar. Very, very close from Asi Yokokawa. So a corner for the Burgers. Here's Adira. Off to Sabit Inyor, who kicked it right into the foot of Bauer. Bauer just throwing his entire body. Here's Adira, 1-on-1 with Sewell. Back off to Inyor. Inyor going to his left, but he was stopped in his tracks. And here comes City in attack. Here's Jamie Latham. Can he get an opportunity? Instead, out of his tracks. Here's Fletcher Fulton stopping him. And a big-time stop for the Burgers. Jamie Latham, he's had 3 goals so far this year. Could he get a 4th in this game? And another offside for Jamie Latham. Jamie Latham looking for plenty of attacking opportunities, but just getting a little bit too impatient. 42 minutes have elapsed here, edging closer to half-time here between these two sides. Still 0-0, surprisingly, as well. These two have never had a match that has ended in a draw. Don't want to say anything, but could tonight be the first? Here's Basetto, who's going to kick it up over to Yokokawa. Yokokawa, who earned that free kick before. Off to Lesiotis. And off to Fulton, and the Burgers just going to retreat ever so slightly, looking to try and open up City's defence. Lethling off to Fulton, and out of play on that far side. And City's ball here. Webster to give it a boot. All the way in the direction of Fulton, who got a head on it. Tries to centre it forwards. And they do. Here comes Juach inside the middle. Off to Sabit Inyor, who's got Lino on him. He's going to try chip it forwards to Juach. Can't quite manage to. There's Atherinos inside. Kim with a boot forwards. No one home. And it's Atherinos to kick it out. And that's out of play. And the Burgers ball. Ali to throw this one in. He's got Sabidinor directly in front of him. He's got Juach forwards as well. A header from Lino in the direction of Kim with a boot up from Atherinos. And the ball just being lobbed up a little bit here. Off to Jamie Latham, who's had about 4 or 5 offside kicks, so he's got to be a little bit more patient. And the ball working its way back to Webster. And we are working our way ever so close to half-time. Ball is up from Clark. Nobody there, and the ball going to Souza from end to end. The ball going to be kicked up forwards for the Burgers. And it is 1 minute of additional time here in this first half. Still 0-0, surprisingly, between these two sides. The previous encounters last year, it was Heidelberg who ended up winning 3-0, and an attacking opportunity there for Yokokawa inside. He couldn't quite get it. Heidelberg won both of contests last year against City. The first one was 3-0. So, my apologies. The first one was 3-1 and the second one was 3-0. So far, it's 0-0 here. So, Clark to give it a boot up in the direction of Bauer. And that is half-time here at Frank Holohan Complex. A massive, massive first half that will result in a 0-0 scoreline. Very, very unlike for these two sides, considering that they have had many, many goals between them. But at the end of the first half, it was filled with everything. Jamie Latham, who had about 4 or 5 offsides. Heidelberg had plenty of attacking opportunities in transition. But unfortunately, no one could.
Oh, but you know when that's a from then.
Holohan Sports Complex, where we have the visiting Heidelberg United taking on the home side of Dandenong City. So far, at the conclusion of first half, it was a 0-0 result, which is surprising because both of these two sides, they have never ended up their matches in a draw. It has been Heidelberg United that have walked away in their past 9 matchups, excluding this game. They have won 8 of the past 9. Biggest result came back in 2022 when they ended up beating City 6-0. But speaking of an attacking opportunity, Yokokawa blasts one from right at the start of the second half, but he couldn't quite get enough on it. So, what changes have both of these two sides made ahead of this second half? Here's Yokokawa throwing his entire body over Yanakopoulos. But the ball's still in play at the moment. Fulton charging forwards, trying to stop Cesnik from getting anywhere close to it and creating an opportunity for City. City's only win came back in 2021 when they ended up beating the Burgers 4-3. And then in the following year, as I previously mentioned, it was Heidelberg who had a 6-0 victory in their first meeting and then a 5-1 victory in their next. There's been a 4-year winless drought for City against the Burgers. Could this be the game that they get their win and break that 4-year drought? We're going to have to wait and see at the end of this 45 minutes. 45 minutes have already elapsed. We're still waiting for this one. Here we go. Collins in the back line. And here it is, off to Webster. Charging forwards here is Fulton, though. Manages to get the ball for the Burgers. Off through to Bissetto, who's one-on-one with Sewell. Apologies for the mispronunciation. Corey Sewell. So, just apologise. If Corey does go back and listen over or watch over this, my apologies, Corey Sewell, for pronouncing your name wrong the entire game. I'm still learning. Anyway, ball is up the corner for the Burgers. It was close for Heidelberg. Well, not quite close enough. Here comes City in transition. Latham. And that'll be out of play. And the ball just working its way back around in the back line. Here is Kim, directly in the middle. Back off to Mohadidira. Working its way back to Lethlean, and Heidelberg are just going to calm down the tempo here in this one. The 5 offsides in that first half for Jamie Latham. Can he try and make amends of it? We're going to have to wait and see. He had a lot of opportunities. Playing a little bit like the good old man, the great man for Melbourne Victory, Archie Thompson. But here comes City, though, in transition. Cesnik, who just got taken out of nowhere by Anthony Lesiotis. And a free kick coming in there. And the hands are up from the Heidelberg coach. In frustration, a yellow card for Anthony Lesiotis. Very lucky to not be a penalty. About a foot from the box. And Will Bauer is going to take this one. Lesiotis came absolutely out of nowhere, full steam ahead, like a steam train, all out attack, and stopped that play. But here we go. It is a free kick, a three-man wall being created. Collins, Lethlean, and I believe that is Juach. So, Bauer and Atharinos. Atharinos to take the free kick. Ball is up. Webster tried to rise up and get ahead on it. Couldn't quite. And the ball is with Cessnick all the way on that far side. Just in a bit of a tussle. Sevitigno walking away with this one slowly, trying to charge forwards with it. And instead, here comes Kim. Off to Bauer forwards. Goes right directly in Heidelberg's line of defence. Went straight into Collins' chest. And the ball working its way to Kim. And City just going to slow the tempo down here slowly and try and regain their composure. A very, very close free kick. Still 0-0 here in this matchup. There have been opportunities, especially in the first half with Yokokawa's free kick that he had, only just skimming over the post. But here we have Atharinos now. Wide open inside the box. Going to look to cross it in. And it was Anthony Lesiotis, the Melbourne City A-League champion, coming out of nowhere to save that one and stop Atharinos' attack. And a corner coming here for City. Right here in this bush side corner. What can be made? A third corner here for City. Jamie Latham, who's going to chip it in forwards, up. Tried to get a kick and tried to get a boot on it there. Inside was Dandy City. But here comes Mac Passetto in transition. He's got the ball. He's going to center it in. And the referee flag is up. And another offside. Offsides galore in this one so far. And both teams from both sides. And Sevitigno, I believe, is down in the box. He's going to be attended. And he's getting up slowly with a little bit of a limp, but he looks to be all right, being attended by referee Ross Clark. He looks to be all right. So we'll get a continuation of play here at Frank Holohan Sports Complex. Clark to give it a massive bash all the way to Cessnick. Passetto back off was Lesiotis, and Passetto just lost his footing there. Here comes Bauer. He's going to find Atharinos on that far side. One-on-one with Ali. Ali not giving him any breathing space at all. And here come the Burgers in transition. Ali looking for his teammate. Manages to find Sevitigno. Sevitigno tried to fake out the pass and did. And the Burgers just going to hold this one prematurely. 15 degrees here at the moment in Endeavour Hills. A bit of a cold one. A cold, chilly night. And a massive game of football here. Still plenty of football left to play here between these two sides. We'll try and get a score check of all the other games that are happening in and around Melbourne. And the ball will be out of play, and City's ball as well. Jackson Leno to throw it in. At the moment, it is Melbourne Victory that are leading 2-0 against the Melbourne Knights. 73 minutes have elapsed in that one. And Melbourne Victory leading 2-0 at Tomset Stadium. And the Burgers and Preston Lions as well, leading at home against the Oakley Cannons. But I believe Oakley might have just scored, and they have. So it is 1-1 at the moment at Genesis Steel Stadium. Right as I clicked on the live stream, Joe Guest scored a goal in the 31st minute in that game. So 1-1 there between the Lions and the Cannons at Genesis Steel Stadium. And the match of the round that was said by the socials. It is South Melbourne leading against Hume City 1-0 at the moment with 29 minutes elapsed over there at Nassau Stadium. At the moment, it is 0-0. It is 0-0 though here. Correction. And a bit of a tussle was happening there between Sabitanyor and Webster. But nevertheless, a throw in there for City. Off to Kim. And off to Lino. Ball finding Atherinos. Going straight into Collins. Tried to get past him, did. Ball's inside. Jamie Latham. Back off to Atherinos. Atherinos with a bit of a fall. And here come the Burgers in transition. A setting ball off to Max Basetto. Tried to get forwards, but couldn't quite in time. It's a beautiful setting ball, though. Beautiful setup from Anthony Lesiotis. And City just going to kick this one around. And here comes the pressure from the Heidelberg offense. Yokokawa and Juach pressing right up. But here comes City in transition. Here's Will Bauer, who's got two men on him. Here's Jamie Latham, who's down once again. It won't be waved off. And here comes the foul. Just waiting here for the official verdict from Ross Clark, the referee. Was it inside in the penalty area or not? And Johnny A was absolutely upset with that one. Both coaches absolutely fuming. Johnny A almost ran onto the pitch in protest of that one. But it will be free kick going Dandenong City's way. About a metre away from the box. From the top of the box to be exact. Thomas Yanakopoulos looking to take this free kick. Souza is in there. It is a massive, massive wall being created directly in front of Yanakopoulos. Waiting for Ross Clark to signal the whistle. Here it is. Ball is in. What a save there from Souza. That is a really, really good save from Souza. And that was the first shot on target for Dandenong City, possibly all night. And a very good one, if that. Could that be an opening that they need? Here's Sesnik looking to center it in. Yanakopoulos tried to get another foot on it. And another kick there from Will Bauer. Going straight into the hands of Yaron Souza, the goalkeeper, the very much experienced goalkeeper. Spent his time in Turkey for a small part of his career. 27 years of age. Has all the experience in the world playing in Super League and the second league in Turkey. There might have been a push in the back, but they're going to play it on. Here's Juach with a through ball. Off to Sabitanyor, who's charging full steam ahead. Off to Juach, inside the box, tried to get a kick on it. Here's Basetto, though, who's got Webster directly in front of him. Looking, passes it off to Ali inside. And a penalty from Ohad Adira. A correction, my apologies. A penalty and Ross Clark not having any of it. And Johnny A absolutely furious with that one, telling and instructing his players to get out of there. So, this should make it all more spicy here at Frank Holohan Complex. Bull Juach, who's played in 6 games. He's had 3 goals. And he's got a penalty for Heidelberg. Could this be a goal and put Dandenong City in familiar waters that they've got the Filipovic stand, trying their best to distract him? The banging and screaming, but at the end of the day, it's down to Juach and what he can muster up here. Pierce Clark. He's going to have to muster up every bit of what he has to try and keep this one in his favour. The whistle blows. Juach steps up to the plate, gets it to go. First blood drawn by Heidelberg United. And it puts Dandenong City in familiar territory where they have been in the past 8 games, trailing. And they're trailing once again. Heidelberg get the 4th goal of Juach's season. And it comes via a penalty here at Frank Holohan Sports Complex. One-0 here. Heidelberg lead this one. The first blood drawn by the Burgers. Could that be the one? Could that be the only goal, in fact, here? It's been a very, very defensive game thus far. Or could that be the momentum that Heidelberg needs? Here it comes, another through ball off to Juach. He only moments ago had that penalty kick and sinked it into the bottom left-hand corner. And it's going to be out of play and Dandenong City's ball. Here we have Ali. Off to Yokokawa. He's inside the box. He might get 2! They might have had 2 in about a minute. Yokokawa on the ground. Very, very close from Yokokawa. He had the ball. He had the opportunity. But he just couldn't quite seize the moment. And here comes City. Back to try and fire one back. Down goes Atharinos on the deck. And it'll be a free kick for Dandenong City. Dandenong City are still hunting for their first home win of the season. Had 2 draws and the 1 loss. Ball is up. Off to Webster in the back. And the ball goes straight into Souza's hands. What could be here at Frank Holohan? Is it going to be a victory for Heidelberg? Or are Dandenong City going to fight back from the glooms to try and get an equaliser? Here's Kim. Directly in the middle of the pitch. And Clark under enormous pressure there he was. And the ball will be out of play. So it's Heidelberg's ball. About 63 minutes have elapsed here at Frank Holohan Sports Complex. And here come the Burgers again. Off to Juach. Juach tried to center it to his man in Jamal Ali. Jamie Latham off to Bauer, who's got Ryan Lethlean for company. Trips him over and goes straight to Benjamin Collins. Ryan Lethlean, who's played in all 6 games for Heidelberg thus far this season. His 7th game here. Here is Fletcher Fulton directly in front of us. Going to throw it in in the direction of Mohadadira. Sorry, my apologies. Juach. The ball is kicked up. Souza coming well out of goal for a header. Absolutely dove for it. Credit to Souza for diving for that one. Sent his whole body out, and that'll be out of play. Would like to quickly give a massive shout out to all of you viewers who are watching these streams on YouTube, who are broadcast on YouTube. Over the past 6 rounds, 608,000 views across all of the games thus far. A massive, massive thank you to you. Without all of you viewers, none of this will be possible. So a massive thank you going out to all of you. The most viewed game, that was a couple of weeks ago when Preston Lions took on South Melbourne at Genesis Steel Stadium. Over 50,000 views that one generated. The second being Melbourne Victory taking on South Melbourne. That one over 32,000 views. And then St. Albans versus South Melbourne. That was over 25,000 views. So a massive thank you to you, the viewer at home, for making all this possible. There is still plenty more football left in the season. This is only round 7. Who knows what more could come about. Here is Yanakopoulos. Off to Latham. Try to get it. Yanakopoulos fighting back. Here's Sabitinyor on that far side. He's got Yanakopoulos pressing up after him. Juach. And Kim directly in the middle, going to have this one and going to retreat back off to Inaba. Here is Inaba. Going to boot it up forwards. Trying to get it off to Lino. Lino shrugging off Mohadadira. Ball's up. Latham inside the box. Shamey Latham trying to put all the pressure on Heidelberg. And unfortunately couldn't quite connect with that kick. And a substitution getting ready to come on here for Heidelberg. And it is going to be Anthony Theodoropoulos getting ready to come on. And he will replace Fletcher Fulton. He will replace Fletcher Fulton. My apologies. Fletcher Fulton off he comes. On goes Anthony Theodoropoulos. So, Souza going to give it a boot in the direction of Webster. And here is Yokokawa off to Juach. Juach looking for his options. Mohadadira directly sprinting forwards. And he's going to retreat all the way. Is Juach still with the ball? Here's Ali on that side. And just going to put a bit of a halt to this one. So far 1-0. Via a goal from Bull Joach with that penalty kick that he had. And we have a player down directly in the middle of the pitch. And that is Anthony Lesiotis, the Melbourne City A-League champion. Apologies, it is Yokokawa. Correction from me. I could only see the number 6 from this angle, so just like to give an apology. So while we wait for this, let's try and quickly give you a little bit of an update with all the games that are happening in and around the grounds at the moment. I believe the announcement that was made at the Filipovic stand was that Melbourne Victory might be leading 2-1. Melbourne Knights might have had a goal. Just want to quickly check it here. But at the moment, we're just waiting for Yokokawa. A bit of a halt in play. And it is 2-1 lead for Melbourne Victory at Thomson Stadium. Looking forward to the Preston Lions. Still 1-1 there. It is in extra time at the end of the first half, so closing in, and it's still 1-0 South Melbourne over there at Nassau Stadium. So plenty of football, a massive football night along too with NPL Women's Round 2 as well tonight, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Another substitution, however, coming in. This time it is Kenjok Athew coming on for Valil Sesnik. Athew did not make the start tonight, surprisingly, after making all the starts thus far. He played in all 6 games, had 3 goals as well. But this time, however, he is on the pitch. He's Kenjok Athew. So what can he muster up and provide for this Dandenong City squad? Here's Ali. And Athew already trying to make an impact, putting instant pressure on that ball. And the Burgers ball directly in front of us. Bisetto just placing it for Ali. Kenjok Athew, he is also an A-League champion, spent his time playing for Melbourne Victory. Ended up playing 50 games, scoring 4 goals, part of Melbourne Victory. So plenty of experience. What can he provide in this matchup? He's going to need to provide everything for City, considering that they are down 1-0. And the Burgers just going to roll this ball towards their defence. And speaking of Athew, already making an impact. Here he is on cue. Athew and Lethlean. Bit of argy-bargy there, and he's just going to kick it out. Is Ryan Lethlean out of play? And it is Dandenong City's ball. Here is a cross from Sewell. One quite good enough. And back off to Anaba in the back line of Dandenong City. 72 minutes have elapsed here at Frank Holohan Sports Complex. And the Burgers with a 1-0 victory. Very familiar sight and familiar ground for them after the previous 8 victories that they've had over Dandenong. And it was the Burgers with a somewhat opening, trying just to open it up. Here's Ali. He's going to find Lesiotis. He's going to pass it off to Bisetto on this close side. Charging forwards is Yokokawa. And instead, Jamie Latham there at the right time. He's just going to kick it off to Inaba, who's just going to slow the tempo down as well. Here's Sewell. He's got Bisetto for company. Off to Latham. Trying to open up Heidelberg's defence here. Heidelberg starting to play a little bit more defensive now. This entire game has been quite defensive from both sides, especially Heidelberg, but Dandenong as well. Not really being able to conjure up much of an attacking opportunity. Speaking of one, the kick goes right into the hands of Souza. Here's Collins. Off to Theodopoulos, the sub who came on. And that'll be out of play. And it'll be Lino to throw it in. Dandenong City still hunting for their first home win in front of home fans. What can they conjure up? I had 2 draws simultaneously in back-to-back rounds. The first one against St. Albans. That one ended up as a 3-3 draw. And then the following week, it was a draw against Preston Lions. That one was 2-2. And then the one loss coming back in round 4. It was a 3-1 loss to Hume City, who are playing at the moment against South Melbourne. Here comes Yokokawa now, who's trailing by Kim. Yokokawa tried to set it up. Tries to find him. Turnaround kick. I believe that was Sabit Ignore. Here's Mohadadira, and instead Latham managing to get the ball off. It's a beautiful ball off to Athew. Athew, who's inside the box, stopped his momentum. Might have that stopped a possible goal opportunity? We're never going to know. And it's off to Sabit-Ignore. And Heidelberg going to try and thought about a counter-attack, but instead they're going to concede it, and they're going to go all the way back to the goalkeeper, Souza. And here comes Sabit-Ignore, looking to try and press up. And down goes Sabit-Ignore, and a yellow card going to Yanakopoulos. And a couple fresh subs coming on as well here for Heidelberg, getting ready, gearing up and ready to go. So it'll be a free kick for Heidelberg. So, substitutions coming in is going to be Chock Dow, number 15, and number 17, Jay McGowan for Heidelberg. And they'll be coming on for Yokokawa. Chock Dow comes on for Yokokawa. And along too does McGowan for Max Pacetto. So Max Pacetto, that's the day done for him. And there is a boot from Sabit-Ignore. And only hits the signage. And gives a massive thud throughout the Filipovic stand. Here is Webster for City. And that'll be out of play. Here's Athew. And the ball lost straight into the legs of Ali. There was Dow already making an impact. Jawach. Dow. Here he is. Finds Sabit-Ignore. All the way on that wing with a charging Theodopoulos, who tried to center it forwards. And he couldn't quite finish it off. Very, very close from Jawach. He had the ball, and unfortunately couldn't finish it off. And another close call for the Burgers. Ball's up. Left lane. And Athew in a bit of a head-to-head tussle. Ball still up directly in the middle of the pitch. Yanakopoulos. Lino, he's going to keep that one up. Ball being sent right up into the air. Dow. Off to Mohadadira. He's going to find Lesiotis charging forwards. And hands go straight into Clark. Webster has had quite a fair bit of touches and quite a fair bit of possession for City tonight. There's a kick from Sewell. Tried to find Atharinos, and Lesiotis straight down in front of us, holding his shin. So a free kick for Heidelberg. So Jack Webster just a little bit upset after that call. Left lane. Finding McGowan. Here is McGowan. Charging forwards. Kim tried to disrupt his momentum. Off to Lesiotis. And they're just trying to open up the side. Theodopoulos. I've tried to get to Jawach, my apologies. And the ball just being Passed around by Heidelberg. Lesiotis off to Theodopoulos. Finding Moa Adira. Here's McGowan charging forwards. And the ball just in a bit of a tussle there on that far side. Lino for Dandenong City trying to keep it alive, and so too was down. A player down. Heidelberg player down once again, all the way on that far side. And another free kick here for Heidelberg. And it was Theodopoulos down on that one. A heavy contest, which saw Theodopoulos go thumping down into the ground. Just waiting on our referee, Ross Clark, for an official verdict. This is round 7 of the men's NPL season. These two sides looking to get a win and try and really boost up their season as well, especially for Dandenong City. They've only had one win from the past 6, 4 draws and the 1 loss, currently sitting 7th on the table with 7 points. Heidelberg, however, 5th on the table, 10 points, 3 wins, 1 draw and 2 losses. Dandenong City's next game will be the 31st of March against South Melbourne at Lakeside Stadium. So here we go, free kick for the Burgers. And here is Theodopoulos trying to keep it alive. Juach went for it, but couldn't quite get his boot on time enough. And looking to Heidelberg's next home game, there's on the 28th of March against Altona Magic at Olympic Village. So a home game for them. Should have the advantage. And could they keep the momentum swinging in their favour? Going to have to wait and see. The question was, can they keep their momentum rolling after that 5-1 victory at the end of their 5-1 win over Hume City last week? Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? At the moment, so far it is yes, but we're going to have to wait and see. More substitutions coming on in this game. Heidelberg, they have Peter Klassen getting ready to come on for them. And a couple substitutions getting ready to come on for Dandenong City as well. Here is Atherinos all the way with Atheu, who's being manhandled there by Ryan Lethlean. And couldn't quite be the victor in that one. And 3 substitutions coming on for Dandenong City. It'll be Brad Plant coming on for Atherinos. Danny Kim, that's his day done and dusted. He's going to be replaced by Brad Plant. Diego Cuba comes on as well. So, plenty of substitutions happening here at the moment. And as well, Heidelberg, they have Peter Klassen coming on as well. And then along to Nathan Hancock as well is on for Dandenong City. So, here is McGowan. He's been pressed very early on by 3 Dandenong City players, trying to keep him in that corner. Yannikopoulos. And instead it's McGowan keeping the ball alive somehow. And Ross Clark has all to say. So, a bit of a tussle happening there, and just the coaches shouting, keep them away from each other. Let's try and keep this matchup resumed. Closing in at about the 84th minute here in this match. And so far, Dandenong City lead it. Sorry, my apologies. Heidelberg United leading this one. After a penalty kick from Bull Juach that put Heidelberg in the lead. So just a little bit of a correction between the players, determining whose free kick it is. The Heidelberg players think it's Heidelberg's, Dandenong City's think it's Dandenong's. And it is the Burgers free kick. Directly on the Filipovic grandstand side. So it will be Dow to take this free kick. Heidelberg, boy, would they love another goal. However, Dandenong City, that will be the biggest nightmare for them, allowing another goal. Ball is up in the back. And here is Ali charging forwards. Try to give a kick. Ball's loose in the back. And it's going to be kicked away by Cuba. And keeping that one very far away from the goal, not allowing the Burgers anywhere close to it. But Chile United is here in Endeavour Hills. We are getting close to autumn here in Melbourne, so make sure to get ready to be coming. If you are going to be coming to these games, if it is a night one, make sure to pack your gloves. That'll be my top tip. Here is McGowan. One-on-one, not allowing any space between him and Dandenong City. Yanakopoulos was there pressuring him. Juach off to Lesiotis, and it's going to be quickly stopped. Here comes Cuba. All in the open space by himself. Here comes Ali with a nice through ball off to Lesiotis, charging forwards, and that might be another penalty. Boy, would you believe it, it is! And we're just going to try and not keep our mind for this, but a penalty coming up here for Heidelberg. 2 penalties in this game, and that's going to cost Dandenong City big time. Referee Ross Clark immediately pointed to the penalty area spot as soon as the foul happened. And we're just going to wait for this to really get settled down here between these two sides. A lot of tension happening. The competitive edge with both players, both teams, everyone wanting to win. That's what it's all about. Both teams, especially the Heidelberg's Johnny Kay, shouting for his players to keep each other away. We might potentially be seeing a couple cards being given out here. The referees just talking it out amongst themselves. "87 minutes elapsed here at Frank Holohan Sports Complex. Heidelberg currently have a 1-0 lead and a chance to open it up to 2-0. So, here it is. Just getting ready for this penalty kick. Ross Clark just trying to get everything sorted out. And he's calling over Pierce Clark. And I think he might be handing a yellow card Pierce Clark's favour. And he's handing a card not only to Pierce Clark, but he's also handing a card out to Peter Klassen. So one to Dandenong City, and the first yellow, I believe. Don't get me fixated on it, but I believe the first yellow card as well for Heidelberg United. So, here we are. Second penalty kick of the evening with the Filipovic stand in the background. The backdrop for this penalty kick, waiting on Ross Clark to give the whistle. Boljuachu had one early on. He's on 4 goals at the moment. He's tied with Yokokawa at the moment. 4 goals apiece. They're the scoring leaders for Heidelberg. This could put him up to 5. Whistle goes. Boljuach stepping up to the plate. Got it! And the Burgers 2-0. And they might have put the dagger for Dandenong City's chances of getting back into this one. Steps up, makes his moment count. And Boljuach, 2 from 2 from the penalty area tonight. 2-0 lead for the Burgers. Bull Juach, a man of moments tonight, making it count when it means most. And boy, has he made it count tonight. He's had 2 opportunities presented on a platter, and he's made the most out of both of them. Heidelberg 2, Dandenong City 0. And we are getting closer and closer to the conclusion of this matchup. And we have an additional 9 minutes of extra time to conclude this one. So an additional 9 minutes here for this matchup. Webster just going to throw it forwards to Sewell. Sewell to go for a massive throw-in. Going forwards. Ali going right up, and a massive boot from Nathan Hancock. There's another ball going to Parks Victoria. Get that one heritage listed. Nathan Hancock, this is his 6th game played. He's had 2 yellow cards this season as well. So, ball up in the air. Ball with McGowan, trying to give a little bit of a through ball to Lesiotis. And the ball being put up again. And this might be one. Klassen going down onto the deck. Dow looking for his options. He's inside the box. Could this be another one for Heidelberg? Goes off the side post. And a gasp of relief for Dandenong City, as they could have been on the verge of being 3-0 down in this one. And that is something they definitely wouldn't want, especially after their 4 years of being winless against Heidelberg. And we could be on the verge of that 4-year winless drought, possibly still counting. Ali got into a bit of a confusion there with his teammate. The header forwards to Yannikopoulos, who's been pressed up by Dow. Here's McGowan with a nice pass to a leading Lesiotis. Here's Juach, who's on 2 goals for the night, who's on 1-on-1 with Lino. Right on the edge of the box. He's going to centre it up. Webster getting a massive head onto it, getting that ball sent away. Juach off to Theodopoulos, who's stuck in that corner. He had Brad Plant for company, but it's still going to be the Burgers' ball. A throw-in off to Dow. Dow looking to try and escape the press from Sewell. And another header from Webster, just sending that one away. And here the possible attacking opportunity for Atheu, but not quite. Three and a half minutes have elapsed of extra time. And here is Klassen inside with another one. 2 opportunities, couldn't get any. Straight into the hands of Piers Clark. And that ball's going to be sent right up. Going to try set it all the way to Atheu. And instead, manages to find Plant. Plant with another kick. Add that one to the tally. Parks Victoria is going to have a field day collecting those balls. And I think we might have possibly run out of matchday balls. Nope. We're lucky. We got another one. Started off with 4 balls, only down to 1. At the end of the night, I don't think we might have any. These 2 sides, their next meeting will be in round 20 on Friday, the 27th of June. This time, it'll be at Heidelberg's home at Olympic Village. I'm sure Dandenong City, at the conclusion of this, might want their revenge. Here is Plant, trying to create some separation and trying to create an opportunity for City. Here is Cuba with a massive boot. Very, very ambitious. A sign of desperation from the players of City. (9:41 p.m. local time here in Endeavour Hills. Here's Souza. Just going to look to kick it in. Ball up, and a big boot from Hancock. It's a massive header. Here is Mahad Adira, who's got one-on-one with Sewell for company. Off with Ali. Ali. Here's McGowan now. Tried to through ball it. He had Ali in his tracks, and Heidelberg with enormous pressure here, not wanting to give Dandenong any breathing space whatsoever. And it'll go into the back line of Dandenong City. Ball up, straight to Theodopoulos. He's going to kick it back off to Webster. A bit of a collision there. And instead it's going to be City's ball though. So, through ball, tried to get it up, crossed in. Dandenong City just working really, really hard here to try and get on the scoreboard, on the tally sheet. And Souza to pick it up. So, McGowan now in transition. He's got Yanakopoulos for company. Ball right on the line, still in. So also, he had planned for company as well. Here's Dow, turnaround kick. Won't go, and he hits the netting in the background. Still 2-0 here at Frank Holohan Sports Complex. We're closing in on the completion of this one. The Burgers on the verge of another victory. You can hear the fans in the background. Yanakopoulos. A quick score update as well around the grounds. Preston Lions leading 2-1 against the Oakley Cannons at Genesis Steel Stadium. And South Melbourne still leading 1-0 against Hume City at Nassau Stadium as well. Looking ahead as well to some of the other games that'll be happening tomorrow. Altona Magic take on Green Gully at Paisley Park. That one at 6:15 p.m. tomorrow night. And Dandenong Thunder versus Avondale FC at George Andrews Reserve. In my opinion, that one might be the game of the round. Number 1 on the ladder taking on number 2 on the ladder. Is this Dandenong Thunder's chance to start clawing back into that race for first at the moment? And then looking ahead to Sunday, it's the St Albans Saints taking on Port Melbourne Sharks at Churchill Reserve at 4 p.m. So plenty of football happening as well. Another mention, this is round 2 of the NPL women's season. So tune in to those games as well. Plenty of football right across Victoria. Ali. It's off to Souza. We are slowly getting towards the end of time here. Ross Clark just looking at his watch in the middle of the pitch. Ball up there between Klassen. Klassen really wants a goal here in this one. Here is McGowan, one-on-one with Sewell. And that is full time here at Frank Holohan Sports Complex. It is Heidelberg United The Burgers getting the win once again, like they have many times before, 8 times and counting. Make that 9 in their head-to-head matchup. That is 9 wins to 10 for Heidelberg United over Dandenong City. The 4-year winless drought for Dandenong will keep on going, and it might end in the next round that they'll have against Heidelberg on Friday the 27th of June between the Burgers. That'll be their redemption. But tonight is all about the Burgers getting the 2-0 victory. The 2 goals came by Bull Jarch in penalties. No one would have expected penalties. However, that's the way it concluded. 18 shots was Heidelberg compared to only the 8 taken by Dandenong City, and 6 shots on target compared to Dandenong City. I think I have a sneaking suspicion that might be what Dandenong City will be working on throughout the next coming week before their next match that they have actually against South Melbourne, who is leading at the moment 1-0 against Hume City. And Heidelberg, well, they have Altona Magic next week at home at Olympic Village. Dandenong City's 4th home game was a disappointment. It was a letdown for the fans, and I guess they're going to have to keep the fans waiting for that first home win, and they're going to have to keep them clawing, because it was not Dandenong City's night. It was Heidelberg. Tonight's all about Heidelberg. At the conclusion of this, it is Heidelberg 2, Dandenong City 0.